Let's nerd out on advanced macroeconomics for a few minutes while I try to explain Trump's plan to strengthen America and encourage domestic manufacturing. By now, most economists know that Donald Trump's trade and economic policies are based off of a November 2024 report by economist Stephen Moran. And Donald Trump loved this report so much that he made Moran the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors to the White House. The 41-page report has one core narrative: reduce the influence of the US dollar as the global reserve currency. Moran directly attributes the overvaluation of the US dollar to undermining domestic manufacturing. He is basically saying that the US dollar is overvalued and that makes our exports more expensive. And purposefully crashing the US dollar is the best and most efficient and fastest way to recovery. For example, the US dollar is currently valued at 88 cents for every euro. And in the past few years, the US dollar has actually almost been even with the euro. Let's use an example of a French company importing $10,000 worth of US orange juice. From a $1 to €1 playing field, France would pay 10,000 euros plus import fees. And in a one-for-one scenario, if a US company imports $10,000 worth of wine from France, they will pay 10,000 euros plus an import fee. But since the US dollar is so weak right now, this benefits our importers and our exports. If France now buys $10,000 worth of orange juice, they will pay 8,847 euros plus a 12.2% tariff on orange juice, bringing the cost down from 11,220 euros to 9,926 euros. This will encourage EU imports of US products because now they're getting a discount on things that they paid for while still getting the same amount of volume. But how does this encourage domestic manufacturing? With a 20% tariff on US imports of wine and a devaluation of the US dollar versus the euro, what was $10,000 worth of wine is now $13,562. The price increase falls on the American consumer, and the tariff fees go to the Treasury Department to tackle our debt. Although the report does not come out and say this, the entirety of this plan is to reduce American overconsumption of cheap imported goods. This plan would make cheap things not cheap anymore. And in the process, Americans will pay more for things that they used to get for much less. If Americans are adapted to paying more for things, domestic manufacturing can come in and they will be used to paying that fee. Before you get all into my comments saying that I'm defending this plan, please know that I'm not. This plan has potential, but it has to be done in a way that is not taking a sledgehammer to the American people's wallets. These economic policies should include congressional approval. There should be transparency about the fact that this is going to take anywhere between 15 to 20 years for the cheap products to now be made in the US. Summary of this plan is that it is to get Americans to get used to paying more for things. What I would love to hear from Republicans in this is just one simple statement. I now recognize that Donald Trump campaigning on a platform that the cost of goods would eventually be cheaper was just a lie.